Hey guys, welcome back. In this episode, I've got an amazing guest. I'm going to bring on the #1 VA loan rep in the country. This is a very good friend of mine, and he actually just built a 10,000 square foot home that he personally lives in with his VA loan. So in this episode, I'm going to be talking about how to use a VA loan for new construction. All right, Jamie, what's going on today? How are you, sir?
Good, Brent. Thanks for having me. It's a pleasure to be here with you, man.
No, man, thanks for jumping on here. I know that you literally were probably closing up on a loan as we were speaking because I heard you signing documents and whatnot. So thanks for taking the time out. I'm fascinated to talk to you about this subject, using your VA loan to build with new construction, because who else better to talk about it than a lender, a VA lender, the #1 VA lender in the country. You actually helped me with the lending on my home in Florida, even though you're in Colorado. And then you also just built a beautiful new house in Colorado with your VA loan. So I'd like to talk a little bit about that. Are you open to sharing?
Oh, of course. Yeah.
Well, cool, man. Well, what gave you the idea to even do that? You were already living in a nice house. Why'd you need another one?
Yeah. For me, it was economics, running the numbers and finding the right builder that built at the right price point is the key to really maximizing your property and making those numbers look really good. So that's kind of what piqued my curiosity. And it was a newer program to our platform. So I wanted to give it a shot and see how it was and be the guinea pig before I sent anyone else kind of through it.
I love it. So, how did it look? I want to know, okay, how did the process go as far as getting approved? How did you know what you could build? How did you know what to buy? Because there's a lot of steps into using your VA loan to build new construction. That's not something simple. Let's start with the beginning. Okay, you and Courtney decide you're going to build a new house. What was the next step?
That's where everybody starts. And the first thing is, where do you get your land? Right. Okay. I think that's the first question everybody will start asking. Kind of the key areas you can get your land is one. A lot of builders have buildable lots already that they want to build on. So the question then becomes, do you want to use that builder and take that piece of land? Another way is you could talk to a guy like Brent Bowers that has ready acquisition land.
Yeah.
To be buildable that he could sell. Or land just on the MLS, the multiple listing system. You can find land on Redfin, Zillow, any of those things. And so that's the first step, is finding your piece of land, getting the financing for the land. Now, I'll tell you this, we don't finance land with our company. You're going to have to go to a commercial bank. Typically, they're going to require 30% down for land.
Yeah. And guys, appreciate you sharing that. That's vacantlandofthefree.com. We offer the land and the financing. And if I don't have it, head on over to thelandsharks.com and I teach you how to buy land at massive, massive discounts. So keep going, Jamie. You're spitting out your gold.
And guys, I'll put a spin on Brett here real quick. I've done this program. It's phenomenal. I've attained a bunch of land myself already for pennies on the dollar, huge discounts on the land. So I can attest the program definitely works, and it's a great program. The next step is, once you get the land, I typically will, let's take one step back. I always say find the builder first and then find the land. Because the builder should be the one that will tell you your development costs for the land. They're going to tell you what you can and can't build on the land. They're going to want what's called a Perc test, which is a soils test, to make sure the land is indeed buildable for a home. So those are things you definitely want to interview a couple different builders. Now, how do you find a good builder?
I was writing that down.
Yeah, how do you find a good builder? Honestly, me and my wife did. We drove around an area we liked a lot. We saw a lot of different houses. And we're like, wow, we really like that house. Let's go talk to them and find out who built their house.
Oh, man. That's smart. That's really brilliant.
So, that's one way to find a great builder that you really like already, their style. So then once you have the builder, then you start kind of looking around at different pieces of land. Take your builder out there. So the piece of land that we bought from the builder, he already had it on a plot plan developed. And it's way back in the corner. And one thing I learned is I had to build an asphalt road to get back there. I had to run power to it, almost half the distance to it. So just in those two costs alone, I racked up about $50,000. So,
now, did the VA loan help pay for that, or were you paying for this before you used your VA loan?
It can actually be rolled into the loan as part of your overall cost.
Okay.
But this is where having a good builder will tell you up front, hey, the development costs on this piece of land are going to be, roughly this much. right?
Gotcha.
So, I mean, I could build a lot more house for 50 grand had I built it closer to the road. Instead of building road and power, I could have had a little bigger house.
That's a good point. And you talked a little bit about a perk test. Will you explain what is a perk test?
Yeah, a perk test is a soils test. And, you know, whether you're building on clay will determine your foundation, what kind of foundation you need. If you're building on more rocky soil, you know, you want to make sure it's not going to shift your home. So that's what a perk test or a soils test will reveal to you.
I love it. I love it. Guys, isn't Jamie awesome? So if you're getting value out of this, I'm sure you are, or you know someone that needs to hear it, please share this episode with a military veteran or someone that's active duty currently that does not know about this crazy, unique strategy. Please share this episode and also smash that subscribe button. Let's get back into it. So what's the next step? You found the builder, you did the perk test, any surveys? I assume that's kind of happening simultaneously after the perk test to see if, you know, soil pans out. You don't have to bring any infill, ready to go. What's the next step?
So then once you have the land, you got the builder, we just need a contract between the builder and our company. So our company, Veterans Lending Group, we are a DBA underneath Cross Country Mortgage. So Cross Country Mortgage is our platform that has the construction department. So our company, we do business as Veterans Lending Group underneath Cross Country Mortgage. So my employer is Cross Country Mortgage. We get paid W-2 from those guys, and they're the ones that have the program. So once we get the contract, we get the builder. If the builder's not approved with the VA and Cross Country Mortgage, we'll get them approved with both in a matter of a day or two. It's really easy.
All right. So we get the approval and then you found your contractor. All right. What's the next step? Because it just seems like super complicated. Like you want the VA loan to pay for all this. I don't have a ton of money sitting around. That's why I'm using the VA loan, right?
Right. One cool part about building with your VA loan is they have zero overlays as far as money down up to $647,000.
Okay.
So it's 647,200. So as long as you stay underneath that for the build, and let's say you buy the land cash or you buy the land on a loan, if you go over 647, the requirement as of recent is 5% down. So, and they will use the land, that 30% you put down. If the land has the 5%, that will satisfy going over the 647 overlay for the 5% down.
Okay. So if the land's worth, let's just say 5,000 and you're building $100,000 house, you pretty much satisfy that 5% down. I like easy numbers, by the way, with the land because you own it free and clear and that's collateral.
That's correct. So next thing is we get the contract between the client and the builder. From there, we basically get all your documents just like we would a regular loan. By this time, you will have already filled out the loan application and gotten your documents over to us. So then once we receive the contract, we start working on it and move it along in the process. The process to close is 60 days. You know, we're supposed to put out, they can close a little bit earlier, but 60 days is what you want to plan for. So at the end of 60 days, what's really cool about this product is they lock your interest rate for 360 days.
Oh, wow.
So basically the 60 days, you're going to close your home. And this is another cool part for the agents. The agents now get paid at the 60 days. They don't wait until the process is completed. So the agent gets paid. The property closes.
What agent? The real estate agent?
Real estate agent.
Where do they come into play with all this?
So your real estate agent will help you, you know, with the land. They'll help you find the builder if, you know, you're looking for a specific builder. My builder, he's a more old school. He has zero online presence. So we literally had to go digging for this guy.
Yeah,
but he
dug him up.
Yeah. He built about 7-8 homes in our area we were looking at. And we really wanted to get in contact and interview him.
Was this the same builder that built that really beautiful white home really close to your house? Was that the same builder?
No, it wasn't him, but he builds homes similar to it.
Okay.
So yeah, so once we closed within 60 days, then they lock your interest rate and then building starts. So one thing is, you know, if you do not close in a year, then you're going to pay lock extension fees past the year. They do have a float down option, one-time float down option with the lock. So if rates go down, you know, you're locked up here at a higher rate. When you get closer, 45 days out, if rates are lower, they'll float you down to that lower rate.
Oh my gosh. And we know in the last 30 days, the rates pretty much went up 75% in the last, the last year. Imagine someone 3.5, 4 months ago locking that rate in and they just broke the ground because 60 days just hit And then rates, what are rates currently right now?
Yeah, we're somewhere right in the high fours, low fives right now.
Oh, so they lock it in at what, 3.25 or whatever, 3.75. How happy are your clients right now?
And it prevents it from your payment going up, right?
Yeah.
So let me clarify one thing. This is custom construction. Okay. So there's development construction where you go, you find a house in a development, right? The builder will then build your house in the development. What the VA one-time close is for someone that's going to build custom construction, not in a development. Because most of the times in the developments, the builder carries the cost of the loan. And that's why, it's called a construction to perm loan. So a construction to perm loan is you're going to pay interest payments every month as you go along. And then at the end, 60 days out, the builder's then going to lock you. And then, you're going to close on your home in 60 days. If any of your folks that are listening in here have questions on that, just come give me a call, Brent.
Yeah. Throw out your number. How do people get in touch with you?
Yeah. My number is 719-304-6143.
And there's also going to be a couple links below in the description. You hit that drop down arrow, you can find a couple links to get in touch with Jamie and go to his website, fill out an application. One question that keeps popping up in my head is, all right, the building process, how long did it take for you from beginning to end? Like, you closed on the loan at that 60-day mark. Like, how long did it take to finish that custom home? Because you built a big house.
Yeah. And ours took, we broke ground the last week of March and we closed a week before Thanksgiving. So
right.
This is another question. When you're interviewing builders, what is your current time to build, this big of a square foot home?
So about 8 months, right?
Yeah, about 8 months. Okay. And, my builder was really fast. And that's one question we had asked is, hey, because of supply chain issues right now, we're dealing with a lot of the things we're pushing to the right. So what I'm seeing as a mortgage lender is a lot of people that were building, in developments are now falling through because when they started the process back in December, they were told rates were in the high 2s, low 3s, and now we're in the high 4s, low 5s. So their payment just shot up exponentially, no longer qualifying for the loan. So that's what people are kind of going against. So the really cool part about the VA one-time close is you close in 60, lock for 360. So your payment is static.
That's why it's so important to go with the right lender, because that and you personally built your own house doing that. Another question is, all right, took you 8 months. We're on month 5. Where is this VA? So I assume, how is your builder being paid? Was it via draws? Was it monthly? Like, how is he getting paid?
So what they do when you initially set up everything with Cross Country Mortgage, your builder is going to submit what's called a line item sheet to Cross Country Mortgage. And in that, they're going to basically allocate this many funds for draw 1, right? Which is typically your foundation, architecture plans, permitting, that kind of stuff is going to be mainly your draw 1. So the builder is going to include a portion of his comp in draw 1. Draw 2, they're dealing with the sticks, concrete's poured now, they're dealing with the sticks. A lot of the wood that's going to complete the house is going to come out of your draw 2. Draw 3 is typically your mechanicals, plumbing, electric, a lot of that stuff. Draw 4. So most builders, have about a 5 or 6 draw schedule is pretty common. Each draw is basically kind of taking a piece of the house piece by piece. So then what happens is the builder will then submit that draw request to the lender to get paid back. The lender makes sure all that work has been done. They release those funds to the builder. The builder gets paid. He pays everybody off. Draw 2.
Love it. Any parting words of wisdom, final advice for someone that's going to use their VA loan to build new construction that I missed, that I didn't ask you?
Yeah, I'll tell you a little learning lesson I learned. In that fee sheet, there's what's called a contingency fund. And the contingency fund, my builder had $10,000 on there. Well, most people know their eyes are typically bigger than their wallet. So now what I've done, I blew through that literally,
with your
real
toilets. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, literally. It was like right up front. So what happens is anything that, is above what the loan is for, you have to pay for out of pocket. So I'm actually, when I do this now, I pre-approve people for the max. that they can qualify for, because in the end, right before closing, they're going to do what's called a modification. Any excess funds that are in that account, they're going to do a principal reduction. So, and then that's going to be your loan payment. So you'll skip that 1 month, and then your payment will start the last month. And then one other thing, I think just going through the process myself, a lot of people say, well, what about closing costs? They do what's called soft costs, and they actually roll those into the loan. And that's going to be your interest payments, your appraisal, your inspections, all those fees are rolled into the loan. So unlike, using your VA loan on a purchase, where you have to come up with the closing costs at the end of the loan, which cover, appraisal, if there's lender fees, taxes, insurance, recording with the county, you don't have that with the VA one-time close. It's all rolled into the loan. The only thing out of pocket is going to be for the land.
That's amazing. I'm excited. I'm pretty fired up now. I want to go and buy a piece of land that I want to build the next house on, which I actually found today, 19 acres. I love this. Thanks so much for doing this. Guys, if you're looking to get started with this, if you want to go ahead and contact Jamie Fisher, once again, what's that number? We'll throw it up on the screen. Your phone number again?
Yeah, it's 719-304-6143.
All right. And also his contact information will be in the description below. And hey, again, if you're looking for help buying, vacant land and looking for financing as well on that, head on over to the vacantlandofthefree.com. And that's vacantlandofthefree.com. It's on the screen. And then if you're needing help, finding raw discounted land, definitely subscribe to this channel. I talk about it 5 days a week. And we also teach people how to do it with the Land Sharks course. That's the landsharks.com. Thanks so much, Jamie, for jumping on. And also, guys, again, his contact information is below in the description. And God bless. We'll see you next time.